All right, Farhan, no Carson Soucy for the Canucks here. That affects him in what way the most significantly?
Well, first of all, he and his blue line partner, Tyler Myers, have been spending most of their time against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So to not have them available together in a matchup role, I think that really affects the Canucks in a negative way. Soucy's been very valuable for this team in the playoffs.
So with no Carson Soucy, who do you expect to draw in?
Yeah, Noah Juleson, I think, will draw into the lineup. He did play early in the Nashville series one game when Tyler Myers was out with an illness. Now, you know, that game he did struggle a little bit, but early on in the season, I mean, I think he was really one of the top 6 defensemen for the Canucks. A lot of people felt that he should have been a regular when the playoffs started, so we'll see how fast he can get up to speed.
Sounds like he apologized after he did it. Probably the most polite interaction between a cross-check in the face and a recipient of such.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you could tell when you listen to Carson Soucy that was not his intent. He wanted to cross-check McDavid fairly high in the chest, and when Zadorov hit him from the back and knocked McDavid down, the stick, it was too late to pull it back. It was just going where it was going. Not a good look when you do it against arguably the best player in the world. So Soucy just feels it's an unfortunate situation, and it's going to be tough for him to watch right now.
Be interesting to see how this affects the dynamic in this series moving forward. Farhan, goaltending, just a huge topic coming out of Game 3, and rightfully so. I believe there's a very good chance that the Oilers will make a switch and go with Calvin Pickard in Game number 4. I think that's probably the right call to make, but it's a tough one, right? Stuart Skinner was a starting goaltender all year long. He's considered the franchise's #1 goaltender, and this is a tough turn. So some tough discussions here in the days ahead. Chris Knobloch said he would let us know tomorrow. Wasn't going to confirm either way here today. The other thing we could see is Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl split up. How do you see the Canucks reacting to that?
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily for the Canucks. Certainly when those two are together along with Zach Hyman, that's a challenge, even when the Canucks played as well as they did with the JT Miller line last night. But we've seen throughout this series that Elias Lindholm and Dakota Joshua and Connor Garland, that line has seen some matchup minutes with McDavid, and maybe that gets him to Draisaitl or whichever way they go. I think Rick Tocchet's going to know that he's got 2 potential options to go to, and it's going to put an even bigger premium, in my opinion, on Elias Pettersson, who essentially by usage is their third-line center right now. That line has got to get something going offensively if the other two are going to saw off.
Let's talk about the physicality in this series, and I'm talking slashes and cross-checks to the face aside here. Do you think the Canucks are comfortable and happy with the way the physicality in this series has gone so far? Because Rick Tocchet, he seems to demand it from his group.
Yeah, I think they are. And, you know, they sent a message in the first shift of the last game when you saw both Lindholm and Joshua take a run at Ekholm in the corner. And Vancouver finished with 50 hits. Now, a lot of that is because Edmonton had the puck quite a bit and Vancouver's chasing it. But I think they're comfortable playing that way because Vancouver rebuilt its blue line. You know, you saw Tyler Myers last night with 7 hits and, you know, Carson Soucy and Zadorov, and they like playing the game this way. They wanted a big physical blue line for this reason. So I think they're comfortable in this world right now, regardless of what the physicality gets to.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's what Chris Knobloch is wanting from his group, because I've asked him multiple times through these playoffs about the Oilers, you know, their lack of hit total. Right? And it's not just about the number of hits, but it's about setting a tone and playing the game in a way where you establish you're going to make the night difficult on your opponent. And the Oilers have a lot of players that will go game after game after game with 0 body checks. And Chris Knobloch doesn't seem too bothered by that. It doesn't feel like it's something he focuses on with his group. I'm not sure if that's the way they feel they have to play for a winning formula in the playoffs. Respectfully, I would disagree. I think you have to set that tone. I think you have to have everybody feeling like it's part of their job, but it's not necessarily the way this Oilers team functions, and that's probably advantage Vancouver.
Yeah, it potentially is. And look, Rick Tocchet has had those moments as well where he's tried to not overemphasize the physicality. He doesn't want his guys going out of their way to make those big hits. You know, we saw what happened in the 3rd goal, Connor McDavid to tie the game in Game 2 where Soucy went after Zach Hyman and tried to make a big open ice hit at center ice. Didn't work out, went the other way, and McDavid made them pay. So pick your poison, pick your timing at the very least, and so far Vancouver's done a good job of it.
The other story within the story in this series coming in, we knew special teams was going to be a big deal. The Oilers were so powerful coming in, but the Canucks have found some cracks, and the special teams advantage isn't nearly what it was for the Oilers in the first round. We'll see how that affects this series moving forward.